All right, well, even though we just got a new shotgun, I still want to get Revoker to use as a, I guess you could say, the second special weapon, because honestly, I'm so glad it's a primary, dude, because Slayer's Fang, it has 4 different catalysts. I think the only one that I'm really, I guess you could say, chasing or will chase is going to be Repulsor Brace, realistically. I think all the other ones are kind of cool, but I think realistically, Repulsor Brace, especially for like Grandmasters and like endgame-esque content where there's a lot of void shields, I think that's going to be a lot more favorable for Slayer's Fang. So we're actually going to be running a couple dungeons. I actually want to go kill a couple bosses and use the weapon against them and stuff like that. Maybe a lost sector here and there, who knows, right? But I just want to test the weapon because the places where I've tested Slayer's Fang has been really fine and chill. You know, it's a really, in my opinion, powerful shotgun. I think what it does is very cool, but once you actually get like the catalyst going, I would imagine that that's when it really starts to pick up pace in the end game. But as it is right now, I think it's very fun. So we're actually going to test it in a couple dungeons to see how it goes and stuff like that. Again, it is a fairly new weapon. It literally came out like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So maybe some stuff is subject to change, kind of like how Choir of One had an extra 5 ammo that was quote unquote not intended to be there, even though it didn't really break the game or anything. It's kind of whatever. So we'll see how it goes and what changes. But for now, I'm going to finish this class and I will meet you guys at a boss. All right, so for anyone who is unfamiliar, you like that 360? Anyway, basically, Revoker, not the not the point of subject, I guess you could say. It's Slayer's Fang, which off rip, it reminds me so much of Bastion. I love the way the weapon looks. The sight itself, it's like a mix of like Choir and Bastion. It's kind of weird. However, if you don't know, the weapon basically makes it so that you have literal aimbot, and I'm about to die. If you have actually used Wishender from like Shattered Throne or the Dreaming City for that matter, and you know, you hold down the bow and you see how enemies like shimmer and glimmer, I guess you could say, or they glisten, sorry, they glisten through the walls and stuff like that. Quite literally aimbot, like you, not aimbot, but wall hacks, like you just know where they are. The thing does the same thing. Like if you get True Sight, which is very easy to get True Sight, which, sorry if I go quiet, I'm just trying not to die, but you get the point. Basically, once you have True Sight, some shot, like every time you shoot and stuff like that, the weapon, like the actual slug casing, breaks into other pieces that can hit more targets and end up weakening them, which I think is really cool because you wouldn't really, I guess you could say for big enemies, absolutely. You would definitely use a shotgun to like blast them in the face, maybe stun lock them and run away, hide, heal, it doesn't matter, right? Maybe pull a finisher. In this case, as you can clearly see, there's a crowd, shoot at it, and a lot of them get hit. It actually feels like a traditional shotgun. I'm not saying that, you know, you should ever find this out or whatever, but like if you were to shoot a shotgun in real life, I feel like this is a more accurate depiction because the slugs literally go everywhere rather than just half a target, you know, for that sense or for that matter. So we're actually going to test it against Big Bertha, right? This is Fatty that has a little McDonald's battle pass, is actually prone to taking a lot of damage. Now, when it comes to other weapons, again, I just wanted to test Revoker because it's like a baby icebreaker. You literally get your ammo back if you miss. And not only that, but the you know, the shotgun, that's like the main point of contention. But I actually wanted to keep the sword, kind of keep it in like the Void family. So far, the actual weakening, that was, you know, this is kind of horrible, really, getting pushed around and stuff like that. I need to kill more with the heavy, but I think so far the ammo, it dropped. I mean, yes, I have a special ammo finisher, but I think the ammo economy for the weapon is good. It's like a shotgun in the 20s, not so bad. It weakens very quick, and as you can see, if you were to use Strand, those little threatlings, needles, swarm, whatever you want to call those things, they actually track pretty decently. And they don't do that much damage. It's definitely like if you're using a build that has a lot of damage going on and stuff like that, it's probably on the side of, you know, it's decent damage, but it's like an over, or not, it's like a, what's it called? I don't even know what you would call it really, but it's like you just overlook it. Like it's not something that's doing a big chunk of damage to where you really care and pay attention. It's, you know, a lot more forgiving. So we got both light right there. That being said, pretty good ammo. It actually does feel really good. It feels comfortable to shoot. The firing rate does feel pretty decent. I was expecting it to shoot a lot faster, kind of like the Ikalos shotgun. I don't know how I would have felt about that. I feel like it would have been kind of not broken, but I don't think it would have been fitting, right? So That being said, I think it's a really good weapon for how it is so far. I basically damn near one-faced the man. However, I need to get better at actually hitting headshots rather than shooting, because I'm like shooting the target in the chest so that all the projectiles can hit a little bit. But I should go for headshots because this thing actually has, from what I've noticed, really a decent amount of range, which for a shotgun is kind of surprising considering, you know, they usually have terrible range, but this one actually kind of defends itself. All right, deposit this real quick, and let's basically 200 pump and send you back to the lobby. Goodbye. There we go. Anyway, who would have thought, right? Very easy boss. Let's actually go do, I think Spire is also in rotation. You will not catch me hitting the bird boss with the shotgun itself, but I will definitely do the other one because, I don't know, something about the second boss might actually be, maybe with like Song of Flame, it might actually be a lot more, you know, worth using. Call me Adult Swim the way I'm about to mess up this robot chicken. All right, you guys ready? I think I'm gonna do turret and then Helion. Not gonna use prismatic. I just kind of want to use Song of Flame to kind of see how we're moving and stuff like that. So let's go quickly because I don't want you to step on me like a cockroach and then kill me. So let's see how much damage this thing actually does. All right, so we're immediately looking at 50,000 to a crit. Now that he's actually paralyzed from like the waist down from a motorcycle accident, we can actually hit him on all his vertebrae and see that this thing is actually kind of respectable. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting this to be a lot worse. Now granted, I'm dead. Oh shit. Okay, never mind, I lived. I'm the boy who cried shotgun. Anyway, I was expecting it to be a lot worse, which that's like what, a 5-phase? You probably could do a 4-phase if I use prismatic. However, I'm gonna pop it now. I'm gonna pop it now. Okay, let's just be honest. I think the window of time that you can spend damaging this particular robot chicken boss is like what, 20 seconds? I think it's like on the shorter damage phases for dungeon bosses realistically, even though he's very easy to hit. The first prophecy, I would even imagine that, by the way, if you're wondering, I didn't run the rest of prophecy solely because that boss is, if you get closer, he's gonna push you away. Not really worth using. Same thing with Akalos, because Persis, even though he's a massive boss that doesn't have that much, it's right here, that doesn't have that much time to actually allow you to damage him, because, you know, he goes in a very linear path. It's like easy to hit, but you don't have that much time, so you need to be quick. If you actually push up on him, I'm dead, and you use a shotgun and like Song of Flame, maybe like, I don't know, like a bubble, maybe like a well, depending on who you ask, healing grenades, Lumina, I don't know, right? Depending on the team composition, unless you're doing it solo, of course, which I'm dead. No, I'm not. Holy, dude, this man hits so hard. Get me out of here. Anyway, basically, as I was saying, yeah, we really need to get our super back. If you're up and close and personal, I think it kind of works because, again, that's a decent amount of damage for little work whatsoever. Just a super and a couple shotgun shells. That's it. That, I mean, I don't know if you could necessarily get that with something like Fourth Horseman. I think, well, actually, now that I think about it, out of all the shotguns like Chaperone and stuff like that, I think Fourth Horseman, because not even Lord of Wolves, is like the only one that could potentially put that damage output, I guess you could say. Maybe if you're using like, what's the name of those boots that let you dodge while you're in the air? Or like the, what's it called? Hunter, maybe? Maybe that way you could probably, you know, but damn, look, because look at this. I can shoot from here and get a little bit of damage, but it's not going to do much. I really need this super. Oh no. All right, this is going to be a damage phase completely wasted. I'm popping this way too late. However, yeah, no, this is completely wasted, dude. Hitting the reload and everything, this is horrible. But we are hitting for about 50k to a crit. When he's paralyzed from like the waist down, probably about 60 to 70 to 80, which is pretty respectable for what it is, considering everyone in the team can benefit from, you know, set burst, or not set burst, from set like weakening effect. Even if it's like not that much, even if it's like for a little bit, it doesn't matter. Everyone still benefits, which I think is cool, which kind of serves the question, how many people would you have using this weapon in a fire team? Maybe one. I don't think that this is a weapon that you should use, you know, like for example, like fucking what's an example I could give you? Maybe like Edge Transit. If you have 5 people using Edge Transit in like a Divinity, that boss is dead, right? That boss is cooked. However, if you were to use 5 of these shotguns, like 5 Slayer Fangs, I don't know how that would translate considering everyone's debuffing, but it's not like it's gonna stack, you know? Jokes aside, it actually does feel like a very good weapon. Look at this, look at this. Bam! out of here. And thank you for the orb of power as well. It was beautiful. I think this weapon, it did take, in my opinion, a little bit long to come out. I think Bungie expected more people to still care about the game, you know, up until the weapon dropped, which I can't blame them. However, it has an ornament, really powerful weapon, and 4 different perk catalyst options, whatever. We're actually going to use prismatic for this one. It doesn't matter. The point is, I feel like it's a weapon that has gotten a lot of love. It would have been nice if it came out a little earlier. However, we are getting a new dungeon soon, so maybe we'll see how that weapon performs in said dungeon. However, a little bit under half. Prismatic definitely did help a little bit, but it wasn't too crazy. I basically botched the previous damage phase, so it is what it is. Honestly, I think it performed obviously better for a boss like Prophecy. This one isn't too terribly bad. I mean, that's like a 5 phase, 4 if you do it correctly and you don't mess up like I did. But it seems like it's not too terribly bad. It's not like the weapon suffers, or oh, it shoots very slow, or it doesn't have that much ammo, or doesn't have that much that many shells in the magazine. No, it feels very good for what it is. So I really appreciate this weapon. All that for a busted scout rifle, dude. Can you believe that? That is such a shame. All right, let's go do a lost sector instead. And I heavily doubt on keeping this. All right, I actually got very lucky, in my opinion, because the lost sector is overload unstoppable. Unstoppable does not matter at all, except for, you know, stunning from a distance. So we actually will be able to test in this expert lost sector 2030 the capabilities of the shotgun itself. Now I'm gonna take cover real quick. I'm gonna stun him again. I want to see how many shots it takes to take down an unstoppable. Now granted, so that was not a headshot, that was a cheeky little headshot. Okay, so 4 shots, 3 if you get criticals back to back to back. He was hiding the face a little bit. It was making it kind of awkward to actually smack him. This dude I'm gonna paralyze real quick, and then let's actually get the screams in the mine so that I can get closer. I feel that if I close the gap in the distance between me and him, I'll be able to actually get a lot of the, I guess you could say, a lot of the benefits from the shotgun, because it doesn't necessarily have to be like a, oh, you need to be very up close and personal, but you need to be at least in headshot range to benefit, because the weakening effect does say high, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is present there and whatnot, but unless you're firing it into like a crowd of enemies that have, like, you know, the opportunity to basically keep spreading it further, which, you know, shout out to Kinetic Tremors for that. Wow, I was expecting to have to use the thing to pop the shield, but whatever. So that's another thing. The fact that it's void, I feel, is way fitting, like way more fitting that we should give it credit, or that we're giving it credit, because if you think of Lord of Wolves, Solar, you think of, I can't think of any other shotgun, my bad, whatever. The point is, 4th Horseman, Arc, we needed a very powerful void shotgun, in my opinion, because even though you have really good legendaries and stuff like that, exotics that are like oriented towards the void space are, I don't know, it's kind of weird, because we also got Quiro 1, which I keep referencing that weapon. Apologies if it bothers you, I guess, but that weapon, same thing. It's a very powerful void special. We got another powerful void special. Do they compare at all? Kind of, because Quire doesn't necessarily debuff or tractor cannon or, you know, weaken, whatever you want to call it, like similar to how this weapon does, which, again, 2 shots and you're out of here. It's like, for what it is, it's very powerful. But I don't know, it's like, it's kind of like an awkward weapon. It's like kind of like when you're like trying to figure out what to use. It's like, does the weapon itself feel fun and rewarding? Yes. Does the weapon itself do a decent amount of damage? Hell yes. Would you use it for like raiding and stuff like that? Probably not. However, I just stunned this man from like 2 miles away. So, I mean, depending on who you ask, I guess it's, you know, up in the air. I think definitely with like Catalyst, for example, like if you were to put Repulsor Brace, I think Repulsor Brace is really what's going to buff it and allow you to use it. And even look at this overload, dude. This is look at this man. I think that's what's gonna make you actually, you know, determine if it's worth using or not, because at that point I feel that if you can pop a void shield from, like, you know, really far away, because like I said, this thing has range. If you were to pop a void shield, maybe it's like, you know, you get repulsor brace, sorry, you get an overshield. If you're using Devour, that's like an extra plus. The thing also weakens. You basically have a nice little trifecta, which, speaking of, 4 shots and this boss is like dead, dude. That is insane. I don't know, I kind of want to get the Catalyst before I keep messing around with the weapon. I'll try harder bosses for sure, but for right now, I think in its raw state with no Catalyst, this, you know, it feels very rewarding and fit for what it is. you know, referencing something that I said a little while ago. I understand. Look at this. Look at this. Bro, True Sight is so busted because like everyone turns purple. They take a lot of hits. I love it. But I was referencing even the boss. I was referencing earlier how like you could have a nice little trifecta, like Repulsor Brace for like Void Overshields. You could have Devour with the class itself. I forgot, Feed the Void, that's a name. And you could probably also have, I don't even know, Weakening from like the shotgun itself. I feel like that's a really nice trifecta, but I've always kind of asked myself, because in my opinion, and this, I don't think it's controversial, I don't really care either way, but in my opinion, I think Void is by far the best class that you can use for like having a little bit of everything. I understand Radiant Restoration is busted, and I understand Slow, Frozen, and Frost Armor is really good. I understand Unravel, and I understand everything has a little bit to offer, but something about Void, like the health, the Overshield, the Weakening, everything about it is really cool. And now I'm thinking, like, to myself, I don't know if this is going to be a one phase. I hope it is, because I might not have enough ammo, which if I play it smart and I actually get close to the boss and not to like the little popsicles that blow up, I might actually have a little bit more success. Oh man, I don't think this is going to happen. He's going to take a knee soon. Damn it. No, please. Do not make me have to do this twice, please. I'm going to perish. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Maybe if I were to pop Prismatic, but it's definitely not worth wasting it just for a smidge of health when he's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Anyway, now I'm kind of like thinking to myself, what would the better option be? Would Buried Bloodline still be like the #1 go-to weapon for, you know, everything that encompasses that? Probably, because you can get the healing from Devour, so you don't even need to be a Warlock, which is a major plus for a lot of people. And then you also have the Weakening, which is a major plus, and you also have the distance. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that no, absolutely not. I don't think that this weapon can rival Buried Bloodline, but I think that it is very close, because Buried Bloodline has, in my opinion, it doesn't really have anything that's going to allow you to get Void Overshields. Maybe if you use like obviously Special Finisher and stuff like that, of course, but we're not talking about Special Finisher. Now, this thing is so fun to actually hip fire. I think hip firing it is, I'm dead. I think hip firing it almost is more fun than actually just like aiming. I don't even know what it is. Now, granted, you want the critical hits, so don't listen to me. I'm literally giving you advice that's going to make you homeless. But it's, dude, something about it. I don't know. I feel like Bungie has their eyes set really well on making fun exotics, but they got to let them rock, dude. I get so tired, like, when Bungie drops an exotic that's genuinely fun. I don't want to say broken, but like it's just genuinely a fun weapon. It actually feels like a goddamn exotic. It doesn't feel like a legendary that's yellow. And then they just like either nerf it or something happens in like the first week of like the gun existing, and you're just like, all right, dude, cool, you know? Because like you were having a lot of fun, then there's like a midweek patch, and now suddenly the thing has like 6 less shots, and you're like, whoa, you know? Again, not necessarily like how it happened at Choir of One, but Bungie has a history of releasing something. Apparently, I don't know if they don't test it properly or something. I don't know. But like they have a history of releasing stuff that ends up being broken, and they're like, whoa, and then they like backtrack and like, no, just leave it, bro. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. Maybe when I actually get the catalyst, we'll see, and we'll revisit the weapon with harder bosses for sure. But as for right now, ladies and gentlemen, Slayer's Fang, my honest opinion, really good ammo, really good perks, really good catalyst options. The shader looks whatever. The range on the weapon is very surprising. I will give it that. That is probably my favorite part. And yeah, it hits very hard. The slugs actually hit a bunch of enemies. True Sight makes it feel a lot more rewarding. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I will catch y'all later. Peace out. Have a good one. Goodbye.